Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Four Train Savages podcast. My name is Rob. Tyler is on the other end of the Zoom room. We have episode number 216. Tyler, the Yankees just finished up a series at home versus the Minnesota Twins. Took two out of three, lost the game on Wednesday. Yesterday was an off day. Today is Friday. They're heading to, or they're probably already there. They're playing the St. Louis Cardinals in St. Louis. So the Yankees right now, Tyler, are sitting at 64 and 57, 6.5 games back from the American League East division race, and they're only about a half game up for the from the Cleveland Guardians with that last wild card spot. So Yankees are still the race is going to continue, man. This is the heat of it. We're in the middle of August now, August 15th. So this is a tight race for this Yankees team, and
Mhm.
so
Tight
before
race for the third wild card spot.
tight race for the third wild card spot, and right now they're looking up at Boston. They're looking
hmm
up at Seattle. We know that they play Boston next weekend, which will be a four-game series, so that's a massive, massive series. But like I said, they played the Twins, took two out of three, took care of business. Would have liked them to
They
potentially
did
have
the bare
swept.
minimum.
Yes, especially knowing that the Twins sold off half their team at the trade deadline. But
And when
we,
Schlittler brings you into the sixth, Rob, with a tie
yeah.
game, you know?
So it's hard to be greedy about a sweep, but in this case where the Yankees need to win games, it's
Nah, we
something that
have to. Nah,
it,
we have
it
to
it's
demand
something
that.
that you would have liked. And coming up, they play, as I said, St. Louis, two games against Tampa Bay, and then they play Boston. So important time for this Yankees team, and there's some stuff to get into. So, not too much crazy news, but I would say, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, you kind of said they did the bare minimum from this
Mhm.
week. I think that we're just, it's not as if it's good to see the offense click a little bit this week, even though it may be just a get right period against the AL Central against the Twins. But
Yep.
not much has really changed for me. And I think a lot of Yankee fans as well. It's good that they won. They did the bare minimum, like you said. And also there's a little injury trouble here with Goldschmidt, although we have other guys coming back like Yarbrough and Fernando Cruz. And there's just some other developments to talk about. But in my brain, nothing has really changed too significantly. I don't know if we're on the same page there.
Nah, I think we are. And I think my big thing, too, is nothing necessarily can change until you play Boston, Toronto. Like, go ahead. If you go take 3 out of 4 against Boston, yeah, maybe you could change my mind a little bit if the in-game decisions check out and make logical sense against Boston, yeah, maybe it could change my mind a little bit. But no, I think this series, I think all the sports talk radio stations have kind of put it the best way that they could all week is almost like, yeah, this series is only relevant if the Yankees lose it. It was only relevant if they lost 2 out of 3 to the Twins, if they got swept by the Twins. I mean, when you come in and win 2 out of 3, means nothing. A sweep even was like I hope, but it wouldn't. Nothing changed in my head on the outlook of the season playing the Twins.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely I think you're absolutely correct when you say like for this Yankees team and this next week they play St. Louis, they play Tampa Bay.
Can't change my mind against them either.
But what's going to change the vibe of the season or just change the outlook of this playoff race more so than beating the Twins in a midweek series 2 out of 3 is when you play Boston, when you play Toronto, you beat them in series. That is where the Yankees now they have more series against them to cap off the month of August and into September. That is where the Yankees can make headway and then also give the fan base more confidence. That's what you're really looking at. So when they play St. Louis and they play Tampa Bay, in our brains, it's like, okay, you got to take care of business. And then
hmm
that's when you head into those bigger series and that's where you can make some headway. So I think, yeah, we're both on the same page there. But it's good that they won the series. You see Giancarlo Stanton playing 3 games in a row in the outfield. You see Ben Rice now, you called it, is now catching a majority of the games down the stretch in August. So the Yankees are trying to put out their best lineup, especially with Aaron Judge being sidelined at least throwing wise for now. And they're saying, Stanton, you gotta play the outfield, brother. So all this. So that's where we're kind of at. And I nothing is seriously changed in my brain. So
No, and I think that's fair. If anything, like I'm sure whenever we get into the games, I mean there will be stuff that actually kind of doubled down in my brain this series of things that can and will go wrong in big moments. Um, like I said, Rob, it's exciting that it's kind of a tight race, but it's tough to get excited about the team until they can just put together, I don't know, man, 2 weeks of baseball at the bare minimum against some interdivision opponents or some playoff teams or something.
Mhm.
So yeah, nothing crazy. The offense was there. I think we have kind of maintained throughout this show this year, except, I think Rob maybe defaulted a little bit at once, but we've maintained for the majority of this show this year that this team is pretty good offense, or should be a good offense for the most part. And they were good offense most of the series, except against Joe Ryan. They scored one run.
Yeah, that I
But
think
it
is
really
a
just
little.
comes down to the fundamentals and boom.
That I think is something that we can consider, and I guess we can talk about it in Game Three. Is when they have to get there first off. They have to get there. But it's interesting to see when they do play, like if you're playing October pitchers or just generally these better team, like if you look at Seattle, especially if you match up with them, or maybe a Houston team that has good
Hmm.
starters, that I would really like to see how, yes, this Yankees team does
They beat
have
some good
a
pitchers
a
this year,
good
though.
lineup. They did, but it's playoffs is
Crochet,
it's
Wu,
it's
Valdez off the top of my head.
it is different when you get down the stretch and even
For sure.
September. So that is something to note. Like they did play Joe Ryan and in that game three and did have trouble with him, but well, um,
Lot of teams are having
we
trouble
we,
with
we
Joe Ryan.
got we got we got we got a lot more
Offense, just not to
thing
worry,
things
honestly,
that
for me.
yeah things that are of more consideration when you go like down the pecking order.
Yeah.
So like I mentioned, Paul
Goldie
Goldschmidt.
injury, kind of big deal, though, too.
Yeah, Paul Goldschmidt is dealing with a knee issue at the moment. He did travel with the team to St. Louis, but we could be
No news on
seeing
a roster move yet. It
we
probably would happen
could
like now, like while we're on this spot,
yeah.
honestly.
The game is at 8, so I wouldn't be surprised if we get a tweet within the next
Yeah.
like hour or so about it. We'll see if he does officially land on the IL.
Yeah. So if
Um,
he's either getting put on today or probably not getting put on, I would think.
Yeah. And then Ahmed Rosario also heads to the IL. Tyler, we were in the building for what made it happen on Friday,
And
last Friday.
I thought it was Belly with my
We
bad eyes
no,
at
we
first.
did, we did. I agree because they switched him around, but he went. So Ahmed Rosario goes on the IL with the shoulder injury, but it was just Devin Williams being Devin Williams in that spot, and as you kind of alluded to, a questionable decision by Boone last Friday to put him in
Hmm.
that spot where the Yankees needed a win, and so Rosario gets let out to dry there and just
Yeah. Mate's a good play though.
yeah. So
Boone did say he's going to come back off after the 10-day, which would be the 19th, though.
yes. So that is a positive. I think the words you uttered were, Devin, you're getting your effing teammates hurt out here.
Or no,
Something
it was. Or I just kept screaming, now you fucking hurt Belly. You hurt Belly."
because you thought it was Bellinger in the moment.
Because
Yeah.
I
So
thought it was Belly because he was in, right the whole game or whatever.
yeah. But
Uh,
Rosario lands on the IL. Ryan Yarbrough and Fernando Cruz began their rehab assignments, so that is happening. We've been talking about just the importance of Fernando Cruz with this team
wonder
in
what
that
Yarby's
bullpen.
gonna be, man.
And yeah, I'm
Honestly,
curious to see what he can mix in. Is he going to be a starter in some areas? Is he going to be like a long relief guy when come down the stretch? Like it's going to be interesting to see
like
how they
this.
mix him in there. But he's definitely has some really promising value with the way he pitched before the IL. We have to see how he comes back, but
Yeah. Does Schlittler get the boot with Like if Yarby comes back? I
it's
mean,
tough, man. Schlittler's been pitching well.
I
He's
know
been
he
pitching
has been
well.
pitching well. Better and better every start. It feels like, honestly.
Hmm.
I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, I'm excited for Fernando Cruz.
Yeah.
Strikeout stuff, nasty.
Got to get him back. So game
Yep.
one, let's hop into this Minnesota series. Game one, Will Warren on the mound goes 6 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 7 strikeouts. Will Warren continues to put together just a really good
Disgusting,
full
man.
full rookie campaign. So
Can I say something kind of crazy?
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, maybe not crazy, I guess, but dude, I know this is somewhat of a cop out, but literally minus the Dodgers and the Braves blowups that Will Warren had. I mean, he's had as good, if not a better, rookie year in my head than Luis Gil last year. Like Will Warren is in my opinion, nasty.
I think he's still leading rookies in strikeouts for the year,
He's
all
good,
of
dude.
baseball. So Will Warren's
Like I
pitching his ass off.
and he's pitching into game. Like the fact that he was what was that stat that came out? You know how Yankee starters for however many weeks didn't pitch into the sixth inning. And then
Yeah.
Will Warren did it, and he was also the last one to do it before
He's like
he
the
did. I
opposite
mean,
of Clark Schmidt when
yeah,
we
it was
were
like Clark was his big thing was like, all right, you're good until the fourth and the fifth inning. Will maturing fast, dude. I'm very excited about Will Warren. I know in the spring training we were pumped about him, and then he had a little bit of a rocky start, but he's getting better the more he pitches. So
yeah. The Yankees in this one led off the first three innings with a Bellinger home run in the bottom of the first, bottom of the third, Stanton home run, and then Rice makes it back to back, makes it 3-0. Byron Buxton in the top of the sixth hits a solo homer to make it 3-1, and then Larnach in the top of the seventh also hits a home run. Those were two of Will Warren's giving up runs, and then after the Larnach home run, Warren is taken out. And then Trent Grisham, who we didn't really mention from the last series against Houston, where they took the last game, which was salvaging that series, I suppose, would they win on getaway days, but this series they didn't. Who has been very clutch, Tyler, this year. I think we have to shout that out. Trent Grisham, I saw some wild stat that Trent Grisham has like in clutch situations or something. He's one dotting for
yeah, I
OPS.
mean
It's
he's been
nuts.
unbelievable, dude. He might have made himself like $80 million this year for all we know. I mean, he's
So yeah.
29. That's like the thing too, is he's 29.
I know. So, and then Aaron Judge slowly but surely working his way back because off the IL stint really was struggling in that Texas series a
He had a
bit,
homer in this
notably.
game, right?
Not in this one, in the next one. But Judge singles in
Next
this
one.
to get in Volpe, and then Jazz caps it off in the bottom of the eighth with a home run, who we also know has been struggling as of late. So that was good to see from Jazz. And then Luke Weaver with the hold, one and a third inning, and then Bednar gives you some good. And it looks like, Tyler, are we thinking Bednar is now the closer moving forward? I think that we can kind of
Yeah,
say
I
that.
mean, anything else would be just absurd.
Psychotic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, to say the least. Yeah, Bednard's a closer.
Yeah.
He pitched him for
Um,
2 5 outs, saves or yeah, he's closing
Yeah,
games.
he's closing. So second game, you got Carlos Rodon in this one. Really good start for Rodon. 7 innings pitched, one earned run, two walks, 5 Ks. This was a laugher for the Yankees. Um, the only Twins run was scored on a Lewis fielder's choice. And for the rest of the game, as you alluded to earlier, Tyler, Judge homer in the bottom of the first. So that was good to get Judge going a little bit more. Volpe
Mhm.
with a 3-run home run. Stanton again with another home run in the bottom of the fifth. Stanton with a single to get in some more runs, and then J.C. Escara is also up again for this team. But with the way that Wells is looking behind or not at the plate, it's I just Ben Rice catching back to back days, man.
Yeah,
So
one of the best calls I've had
yeah,
lately
you
is.
nailed that. So I guess we could talk about it now more in
Mhm.
detail. We put up a clip on our socials. If you haven't followed us over there, go follow us on Instagram and TikTok and X and everything. But Tyler, you called it out that this Yankees team, they can't, like, I get it. Everyone was making the point, like in our comments, saying that Wells is really valued at framing and catching and being behind the dish, and he is a better catcher. And you made the point, like, how much of a better catcher we'll have to see just
Mhm.
with Rice getting more time. I would still lean that
Ice has
Wells is
got
a
a
better
good enough
catcher.
arm for me behind there
But
too so far.
but it comes down to this, man. If you're like, because Wells has just been a black hole at that back end of at the back end of the lineup, and
And
I
he's
think
been
his
way worse
where
than Volpe offensively,
where
which says a
his
lot.
where his value, you can say, like you've been saying, if he's not giving you a home run or an extra base hit, and he has been very good with sacrifice flies, but
Hmm.
he just doesn't get on base at a clip that it just makes it
Two
respectable.
264. That's
And
like
and when you have a
really
logjam
bad.
at DH, man, and you say, "Oh, but you could put Rice at catcher," like, and you can get Stanton now in right field and Judge DHing, it's like, Austin, we can't really play anywhere.
Yeah,
So
there's not really a discussion about it. Is your best lineup involves Austin Wells on the bench and Ben Rice catching.
yeah, and two, if you ever need to get like, sure,
It's
if you
just
need
it's
to,
just what it is.
you also made the point, if you get down to it and you need to defensively replace
Mm-hmm. You're okay with
Rice,
that.
then like fine, and that's why you
Mm-hmm.
save him in your back pocket. So like if Wells is going to be getting out of the 2 or 3, getting one of the starts of a 3 game set, like he has to, if he really wants to work his way back into the mix, he's got to hit, he's got to get on base, he's got to give good at bats, because
Yeah.
it's just times where he just is non-existent. So
There could be a world too. I mean, this is getting ahead of. No, I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves. I was going to say I don't even know if Austin Wells makes a playoff roster. To be honest with you,
no,
save
that would be
JC
wild.
Escara as a backup third baseman too. No, I'm
Well,
just
yeah.
saying.
Well, I mean, Wellesley last year, he had the home run in Cleveland, but even his
Yeah.
postseason stats last year weren't great. I'm not ready to go that far. I mean, we have to get there
I
first as
mean,
a
bro,
Yankee
you're
team, but
looking at 100 games of 206, 264. It doesn't get much worse than that.
yeah, it's
673,
tough. And I
84
don't
PS
like
plus. But I
to.
mean, I love Wellesley.
Yeah,
He's a vibe guy.
I don't like ragging on him, but I had big hopes for him this year, coming off a really, like, we know that
Dude,
catchers
in
are
February, we
held
were
to a
like, he's
different
our
standard.
leadoff hitter,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know?
Like he's held to a different standard as a catcher, but man, when you're at you said it, 264 on base percentage, that's just not gonna and when Rice is hitting the way he is, it's like, well, why isn't that guy playing? So
I've really gotten to the point, Rob, this is a little off topic, but I've really gotten to the point where I think OBP is like the most important stat to me almost. Like if you have
it's
a good
valid.
OBP, if you have a good OBP, you're probably hitting for a decent average and you're probably slugging a little bit at least,
Mhm.
you know? Like you can't find a non-productive hitter with a low OBP. Actually, the only guy I think you can find is Pete Crow Armstrong, who's like three for his last like 600 or
Yeah,
something.
he's been
You
struggling.
know, he's got a two. I texted my buddy today and I said, "Oh my God." And I said, "PCA is a 291 on base percentage. That's insane." Sorry, just my little rabbit hole, but yeah, like that's really the thing I'm big on. I mean, even when you look at Volpe's numbers, I mean, the OBP is what's unsettling to me. Slugging 422 at this point, 710 OPS, 95 OPS plus, but you can't hide from a bad OBP.
That's
It's
valid.
just you're just telling me day to day you're not giving me a lot unless you're hitting it over the fence,
Yeah, that's
you know.
fair. That's fair. So this last game that happened on Wednesday, excuse me. Yankees dropped this one 4-1. Cam Schlittler goes 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. So he gives you the length that you need and what you're looking from just a rookie who hasn't pitched many games here.
Mhm.
The big story in this one, Bellinger again hits a home run in this series, so that was Belly's been on the right track. It's just, and I texted you before. Mets are apparently looking into him. If I'm the Yankees, I'm locking him up if I
Yeah,
can.
I hope
I
so,
am I
man.
am not someone that likes to be on the sign guys early, but if I think Bellinger wants to be a Yankee or just
I
like
think he does
his.
too.
But the questionable bullpen decision in this that has been having people talk of the last day or so is Yeri De Los Santos getting in this game, doesn't
Hmm.
even record an out, 3 earned runs, 3 hits given up, and we know that this was a long rain delay. But the argument is then made around the Yankee sphere and just baseball and watching this game is, De Los Santos has given the Yankees some good appearances lately, and he's somewhat surprised this team or just the fan base and how good he's looked. But this is a game, as we mentioned, which was close in the top of the fourth before and or
Hmm.
around this time, or sorry, after Schlittler was done, that you say let's turn it over to the good guy or turn it over to the guys we have
To
some
our
more
our
confidence
A
in.
pen, yeah.
So, and Boone didn't do that. And you're thinking, okay, you got to lock these games up, especially when you're playing a Twins team that is as disappointing as it is. They're 57 and
Hmm.
63.
Even though they did kind of get hot after the trade deadline, but
But I guess the one plus that can come out of this, Tyler, is Devin Williams pitched pretty good in garbage time.
yeah,
so,
exactly. Would they bring him
um,
in the sixth or something?
yeah, so he went 1 inning pitched, 1 strikeout, clean inning.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think especially the way that with just talking about Williams and Boone is under a microscope right now with these bullpen
And I mean,
decisions.
he totally deserves
He
to be.
deserves it.
Yeah. And I'm a
And
Boone supporter, as everyone knows, for the most
but
part.
you can't sacrifice, or you have to push the right buttons, click the right things here, because there's little room for error. And I think
And I will say, Yari's
What's his
been
name?
good, but it's just not
Y-
that's not where you go, I feel
Yeah.
like.
And Michael Kay said it on his radio show.
Oh yeah,
He
I
made the
heard that.
point. He
Yep.
said people have to wake up. The season is slipping away, and he's right. Like that's like sort of the message to Boone and to the just the demeanor of the team right now is there's little room for error, and you have to push the right buttons.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, are the bullpen moves going to be under a microscope more so than they would have been a month or two ago or even just weeks ago? Yeah, they are. But that's what happens when you're playing in a tight race like this. So, yeah.
Yep. Dude, and just to kind of further, back up the whole urgency thing and minimal room for error, the one thing I will give the Yankees credit for is Jason Dominguez didn't play in the series. I think they started their best outfielders. Trent played all 3 games in the outfield.
Mhm.
Um, that's a little bit of actual urgency in my head. You know,
Trent's force in their hand because he
like
is
you are
kick ass
totally,
this year.
yeah, Trent's killing it, but you are totally like, okay, I'm not worried about the development in the future right now. Need to win this game. Trent gives us the best chance. Same deal with Austin Wells is like, I give them credit for, or whoever credit for at least starting Rice and Trent in games that are clearly what matter right now. Well, because of the position we're in, but Jason's numbers as a whole aren't terrible, but he's kind of for what his defense offers you at the moment. You can't put up with that defense with the minimal offense that's happening. So,
Fair. It is totally fair. All right, let's jump into because it's finally a series win. Let's do our savages of the series. So I'm gonna go with Giancarlo Stanton for this one. It's really
it's
like,
absurd.
dude,
It's absurd.
when you think about the fact that Stanton now at this point, he's coming off the 2 bad elbows, and apparently like he's fine. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they're sort of hiding it, but when you think about the fact that Stanton is now somewhat of a bench bat and he's just not playing as nearly as much as he used to.
Well, now
And
I mean, he needs to be at everyday DH again.
yeah, so when you think about the fact that he is
Three
not
games in the outfield. That's urgency too, actually.
that is
Back to
so
back to back.
so the fact that he is or to just start the season that he's not exactly the same everyday player, just everyday DH, but now
Mm-hmm.
now he's giving them the opportunity to play the outfield, and he's saying to Boone like we need to win games, we need to be in there, we're in a tight wild card race. And he's out there playing, and
Perfect Yankee.
even though he's slow out there, Tyler, he knows how to play the outfield. Like Stanton is not
Yeah.
necessarily a terrible outfielder. I would venture to say that he is a good outfielder, and
He's calculated. I'll give him
yes,
that.
he's a calculated outfielder. But the fact that he has a 949 OPS, 12 home runs, he's at a 299 average, so sitting around that 300 mark, and he's not getting the necessarily the consistent at bats that he would normally get, and he's coming
Mm-hmm.
off somewhat of a significant injury or just a scare. Like it's crazy to see the way that he's hitting, and he's in this wild card race. If they didn't have Stanton, it would be not a good time. And he's going to be very important in these next weeks, and just for them to have that spot. So Big G is stepping up.
I mean, it's tough to put this into words because of, he's only played in 43 games this year.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, his slash line is the best it's been since he's been a Yankee. It's like, that's not a lie. It really isn't. 299, 373 on base. I mean, you just simply don't get much better than that unless you're a Judge. 576 slug, not 576 slug, 949 OPS, as you said. It's pretty stupid, Rob. 1.4 WAR accumulated in 43 games as a designated hitter. Um, in 2024, he accumulated zero point 0.4 WAR. In 2023, he accumulated negative zero point 0.8. In 2022, he accumulated zero point 0.7. So just trying to put things into perspective, like G's been literally one of the best hitters in baseball for 43 games. That's all he's played in. So unreal.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
with G, it's like, all right, we need to give him 3 weeks to stink, and then he's going to come around, he's going to get hot. I mean, he's been killing it.
He's been good.
Um, I guarantee if he didn't have these numbers, he wasn't going to play 3 straight games in the field. But you simply cannot put this bat on the bench right now. Um, so yeah, well deserved, Rob.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Who would you go with?
I think it's one of two, or I think these awards were just going to go to two people in my head, and mine is going to go to Will Warren. Um, Pulling up his game log right now, so I get it accurate as it was. 6.2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 2 earned, 7 Ks, no walks, 85 pitches. Um, I guess I kind of alluded to this a little bit at the beginning of the episode. Will Warren's been a stud. You get me to, in a professional baseball game, to the 7th inning on 85 pitches, 7 Ks, no walks. That is big, big time. How old is Will Warren, dude?
I want to say 27,
Let's see.
26.
26. Let's see. Is he in pre-arb still? I just want to see how long he's on this team. I mean, he's in pre-arb for the next couple of years. So, listen, Will Warren's gonna be on this team for a long time. I'm very happy with Will Warren, and he's honestly been a stopper. These last couple of times that he's pitched into the seventh. Max Fried has been bad. You can honestly say for 6,
Yeah.
7 weeks at this point. I still think Rodon has maintained being Rodon for the most part. But Will Warren's been very good, and I got a lot of confidence in him. So Will Warren.
Fair. I'm gonna do for our Savage Slump Watch.
They stink.
I gotta give him respect because he's been good in the areas that he's pitched, but in terms of losing this one game of the series, I gotta go with Yeri De Los Santos. Didn't even record an out, 3 earned runs, 3 hits given up. That's who I gotta go with. It was can maybe pair Boone's decision there, but that's that's who I would go with. But who would you say is on a slump watch for now?
Can't argue with it, Rob. This is like beating a dead horse almost, but Austin Wells played in one game, Rob. No hits, 1K, no walks. And the other thing
Just give
is
good at bats, man. Just start giving good at bats.
good at bats, man. Sometimes it feels like he sees one pitch every at bat, and it's just a pop up to second or a pop up to short, and it drives me nuts. And then the thing is, and I will credit this to the John Boy dudes have been all over this, is like I feel like Wells used to have some mantra behind the plate, the stash. They talked about him, rocking the do-rag with Stroh. Like he was kind of like, life vibe of the team a little bit. I don't know, man. You don't see him kind of slowing down the pitcher at all or going out there and giving a little mound visit or, talking to his infield a bunch. So I feel like Wells' head is in the dirt. Forgot how many outs there were. Like, what the hell? What is that, dude?
That was bad.
So I'm going to give it to Wells in accumulation of the last few weeks, which may be, again, beating a dead horse, but it is what it is. Jazz home in this series, or else I think it would have went to him. Belly got back on track. Judge got back on track a little bit. I could yell at Jason, but he didn't play at all. So Wells, man,
hard to be critical when
we passed on it. We dished out a ton of catchers that are producing in the major leagues. So we need you to be good, Austin.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a tweet about that.
You can only complain. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying.
I mean, like, I still, even with like people were throwing out, oh, we've passed on Higgy still being around here. He's 35.
No, but
there is some. Like, I know Narvaez. I know Narvaez.
But even Narvaez has come down to earth a lot.
Yeah, and I know Ramirez for Miami and everything. I get it, but I would still, even though Wells is not performing well, I think that we got to give it a little more time. Plus, we got Ben Rice behind the dish. It could just work out that way.
Yeah. And Wells, to be honest, is probably still your catcher next year. I mean,
yeah, I don't think
they're not going to bring in a first baseman. I don't think it's going to be Ben Rice.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. But the Yankees play St. Louis today, so they're going to play around 8. No news on the Goldschmidt stuff yet, but we'll keep an eye. He could likely be headed to the IL with his knee issue. And then they play 2 games against Tampa Bay, as we mentioned, which was weird last episode. Like they're playing 2 because I think the last series they played 4. One of the other series where they played at George Steinbrenner Field was like 4 games or something. So they have 2, and then we'll try and record right before next week before the Boston series because that's a big deal, man.
Heck yeah,
That's a
man. When does that
huge
series start?
starts on Thursday and then goes till Sunday. So
Oh,
from the 21st to the 24th. So and I may try and go see that Friday game, but I don't know if I'll be disappointed. But
mm-hmm.
we'll see how it goes because the Red Sox are a good ball club after that Devers trade. We
They're
thought
really good, man.
we thought it would be a matter of screwing them over because Devers
Yep.
was hitting well, but it
Yeah.
looks like they had a little something and they're extending their young players as
The
well
vibes
with
are
some
high, man.
contracts. So Yankees
Roman Anthony's good, bro.
win this series again. Like it comes back to what we started the show with. Win these series against the inferior teams, and then also like, sure, are we expecting you to sweep Boston? By no means, but that is
But
where you
look,
can
just
earn
play
comp.
clean, honestly.
I yeah, kind of yeah.
Yeah, I'd honestly rather lose and play clean than nah, I'd rather lose and play or win and play dirty than lose and play
I
clean.
don't know.
But
Just don't try not to look like doofuses. Try not to
yeah,
look like idiots. I don't know. That's my message.
last
But
time when we were in Fenway, we got swept, I think, right?
yeah, I was there
You
for
went to
that.
one game and I went to one game. Yeah,
Yeah, I was there for the Judge
who else?
home
Huh.
run, and I was like, that was insane. And then the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and it was
That's
just,
when all the bad stuff started to happen. Honestly,
yeah.
yeah.
I would venture to agree with that.
And now
So
we're 8 weeks later,
so
still bad stuff happening.
yeah, Yankees in that third wild card spot. Gotta turn it around. Gotta keep pushing ahead to try and get maybe
Even
back in
in
the
the loss
division. But
column, man, with Cleveland.
so we'll see how they perform this weekend against St.
Go Yanks.
Louis. I mean, they're sitting at 500, so it's no pushover by any means. We know that they lost to Miami, so anything can really or get swept by Miami,
Yeah.
so we know anything can happen. So go take care of
Miami's kind of
business and then
nasty.
play. We know Tampa plays the Yankees tough. So thank you guys for joining us for 216. Be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Hit a like on the video as well as subscribe to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening, and then follow us on our social channels. We would really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. Go Yanks. Go win these next couple series, and then we'll talk to you back when they play Boston. Catch you at 217. Peace.